All right. So again, everybody, welcome back. This is Taria Vision Avant, and we are broadcasting tonight to talk to you about a topic that I think a lot of people need to hear more about, and especially with us going into the holiday season, this is a time where more people are affected by this particular topic, and that topic is the topic of mental health. This is our second book that we are now coming out with, and it's called "It's Not That Easy. Stop Telling Me to Get Over It." Here's a copy of the book. This is the first edition, and the second edition will be coming out. And today I'm going to introduce you to two incredible ladies that are in the second edition, as well as you're going to get a chance to meet a young lady who was also a part of the first. But let me just tell you a little bit why I decided to put this book together and why I feel like we need to talk about this topic more than ever. It is said that 1 in 4 adults will suffer from mental health issues in their lifetime. And I'm going to be honest, y'all, when we say adults, that's a large number, but there are so many children who are also being affected by it as well. And if you have ever dealt with any mental health challenges, or you know someone who's ever dealt with any mental health challenges, you know that a lot of times it can be a weird situation. I'm so glad, though, that I'm hearing more and more celebrities that are willing to open up and share their truths about what's going on with them. And I think that's important because when you hear more people actually share what they're going through, especially people that we look up to, it makes us a little bit more open to be honest about what we're going through. Now, the truth is this, you know, when you go through mental health challenges, whatever those are, and there are so many different ones out there. Anything that affects the mind is considered a mental health challenge. But when you go through this, sometimes and many times people do feel alone. And that's why we wanted to talk about this today. So as you guys come on in and re-enter back into this particular video, what we're doing is we're going to be giving away 10 copies of the second edition, 10 copies of the second edition, so that you can actually get a chance to read this and meet some of our incredible co-authors. And so in order to get a free or enter to get one of those copies, what we need you to do is to share this video. And when you share the video, please make sure that you tag myself, Taria Vision Avant, in that post so that we can be able to see who did. And once you share it, we'll be going all throughout the week, and then on Friday we will announce the winner or the winners who actually get a free copy mailed to them in the mail. Okay, so again, welcome. And guys, as you come on in, do me a favor, please introduce yourself. Let us know your city and state that you guys are chiming in from, So I'm going to go ahead and bring on one of our incredible co-authors, a chance for you to meet her. They're all hers, but a chance for you to meet one of them so she can introduce herself. And so I'm going to bring on our very first young lady, none other than India. So India, if you could just share with everybody that's watching a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thanks for joining us. My name is India White. I am a motivational speaker. I am an author and a national educational consultant. I love what I do. I love inspiring people and in convincing them every day that they can overcome anything. My journey in life, from telling my story of overcoming homelessness for the past 17 years in schools and businesses, talking to both men and women, making sure that they understand that they can take authority over their lives and they can thrive no matter what is thrown at them. And so I want to be an example, a voice, and an influencer in this society today to continue to remind people that they can overcome anything. And that is why I decided to get involved with this series on mental health. Statistics show that 800,000 people are committing suicide every year. Those numbers must go down. And I said, you know, I need to be an example, and I need to be a part of the answer to our society to help those numbers go down. So with that said, thanks for having me.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight and taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us. My name is Arshala Riley, and I hail from Dallas, Texas. I'm a senior auditor for the Department of Defense. I'm also an author, writer, speaker, and poet. And this topic was very passionate. This was very touching for me because of the fact that for a very long time, I struggled with anxiety and also PTSD. And I felt that with myself, if I hadn't disclosed as a prior military member how I had been feeling in the anxiety issues that I had been going through, how many other people out there have also been suffering in silence and have not spoken out about it, or has not shared with loved ones, or has sought help for their issues. So I felt that this is a very important topic to really talk about, and especially with our military members, also after having served, the mental issues that they face and the mental challenges they face. And then you have so many children today that are also facing these particular challenges on their own. And I just think that it's very important to get to talk about this more and have an open environment where people feel safe and they feel comfortable talking about this, because this is very serious. And my whole what I would like to do is to be an inspiration to others, go out there and motivate others to seek help, to get help for yourself. If you feel like you are going through any type of mental challenge, there's nothing wrong with you getting help. There's nothing wrong with you talking about it, letting it be known how you're feeling on a day-to-day basis. And I just want to help men and women get the help that they need. And I believe that the first step to actually getting help is to actually admit that it's something that you're dealing with, is admit that you have these things going on, and to also seek the help that you need. And there's nothing wrong with that. And we need to make sure that we allow people or help people to feel comfortable admitting this truth and actually getting the help that they need.
This is an important topic. And just like, talking about the fact that we need to get help, talking about the fact that many people are taking their lives, this is an important conversation. And right now, this particular month, while many people are celebrating with family and many people are, having great times, there are still a lot of people that are not. And so for anybody that knows anyone that's going through that, or anybody that is personally going through that, I want you guys to know that you are not alone. Okay. You are not alone in this. And whatever your mental illness is, and there's so many different ones out there, we want you to know that we are here for you in anything we can do. And so without us trying to give away the book, we're not going to give you too much, because we want to make sure that you guys do and go and grab a copy. And if you want to connect with any of our authors, if you go to itsnotthateasybook.com, you can connect with them. Also make sure, guys, if you want to get an opportunity to win a free copy of this book, you need to make sure that you go ahead and share this video and tag me in the post. And so I'm going to bring her on in a minute, because she actually does work in the mental health field, one of our other co-authors of this book. But I'm going to go back to India, because India had talked about the fact that she was going through homelessness, right? And, I don't know what everybody's challenges are right now during this time of year, but I know that all of us are more than likely dealing with something, right? And so the one question that I would like to ask you, India, is what would you attribute to helping you to overcome? Because that's a tough situation, to be in a position where you don't have anywhere to go. And I can only imagine how you felt in that time. What were some of the things that you had to do mentally to be able to overcome those challenges?
I would have to definitely attribute my faith in God, definitely being able to know the voice of God during that time, and remaining as optimistic as possible, reminding myself that the situation was not my fault and that life would get better. There was a time where I would tell myself it's going to get better every day. Every day I made myself look for 10 things that were going great in my life. I made myself be grateful for 10 things. And I had to speak positive affirmations when I was homeless as a high schooler. So you can imagine, the way I became homeless, it was Christmas Eve. I was kicked out of the house after work, working at Publix, thinking I was going to come home to a nice warm bed. And instead I'm knocking on the door, tears falling down my face, facing the cold streets. And now I have to decide how to be a grown-up with a 4.1 GPA, no street smarts, nothing, just to figure it out. And so during that time, I had to be strong. I could not feel sorry for myself. I had to have grit, and I had to continue to go forward. No matter who loves me, who did not love me, I had to forgive my mom for what she did, and I honor her today. But I had to forgive her, and I had to focus on what was coming next in my life. I had to realize that the situation also was very temporary. It was not the end chapter of my life, and that there was going to be a light at the end of the tunnel, even though I did not see it at the time. So with all of those different factors, that was what attributed to me really being able to overcome that, and now being a motivational speaker, an educational leader, impacting thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives every day by convincing them that they can overcome anything.
Wow, that's absolutely awesome. India, thank you so much for sharing that. And honey, I cannot even imagine how that must have felt, and also just how you overcame your challenges, and the fact that you were able to overcome them, I know that it was not for you, and that it was definitely to help other people. So thank you so much. And I want to go ahead and go back to our other co-author, Arshila, because you actually also talked about something that is a major challenge that is that's going across the entire United States, and that is our men and women who have served in the armed forces. And I know that those numbers continue to grow with people who deal with so many different mental health challenges when leaving the military, and how a lot of times, even when we think about the people that, we might see all the time begging for money, the homeless, they tend to be military vets. And so it's so sad to know that, many people do go through that. And a lot of times it happens because of the mental illness challenges that you do deal with. And so my question to you, Arshila, is for anybody that maybe is going through that, what are some of the things that you would recommend that they do right now to be able to push through?
Well, thank you for that question, Taria, because it is a very important question, and especially posed to our military veterans, those who have served, because we have been put in such challenging situations. A lot of us have seen things and done things that a lot of people would not have to even encounter throughout their lifetime. And it's a very unique situation to be in, and especially if you already had you already suffered mental health issues or challenges prior to going into the military.
Arshila, I think we might have lost you. Okay, there you go. You're back. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
You're back.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even know I had frozen up. I was just saying that, it's very unique being a military member dealing with mental health issues, like such as for myself. I had I dealt with depression before entering into the military, and I really didn't even admit it to myself that I had depression issues or that I was actually going through that. So when I went into the military, that just added to the problem, and other issues developed out of that because of the fact of the nature of the job and the unique challenges that we face as military members. So for people that have served in the military, the what I would tell them is to first, don't be hard on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. And I know it's easier said than done, but trust me, do not be hard on yourself. And then the second thing is, we have to admit to ourselves that we are facing some challenges, and that we are having some mental challenges, and that we have to be honest with ourselves so that we can take advantage of the resources that are available to us to receive the help that we need, the help and care that we need. And it's just a unique situation. And many times people go into the military with issues, and then they come out with even grave issues because of not seeking the help that they need, blaming themselves, and just neglecting yourself. And I would just say, stop, focus on self-care, focus on getting yourself the help that you need, and being honest with yourself, and not blaming yourself or making yourself feel worse because of the fact that you may need help.
Wow, thank you so much. I appreciate that as well, because I know a lot of times, let me put my camera back up. I know a lot of times that we will blame ourselves, or we will feel inadequate, or maybe we feel, like, man, like, even whatever your situation is, why am I going through this? Or I shouldn't even be upset, or whatever. At the end of the day, guys, we all have challenges, and nobody's challenges, the way that I see it, is better than anybody else's challenges, because everybody handles things differently. And whatever you are going through, you've got to figure out a place that you can actually go to be able to share that information, to release that information, so that you can move into a new territory of being able to handle your mental health challenge. And one thing I will say is, even for me, and I'm not sure about, everyone else, but for me personally, overcoming depression and then anxiety. Oh my God, I get anxiety like every now and then, like every other month, I get an anxiety attack. And I mean, I deal with, because you're dealing with so many different pressures of this world, as you all are, but it's not something that you necessarily get cured from, if that makes sense. It's something that is a continuous battle, and you got to keep on pushing, and you got to make sure that you are aware when you are going into those phases of the things that you can do. Well, this is what I want to do, because I actually want to bring another young lady who really is a specialist in this space, and she is also another co-author of this particular book. So much, in fact, that she's doing so many different things, not just for adults, but also for kids in the space of mental health awareness. And so I would like for her to come on real quick and introduce herself and let us know a little bit about what she does. Her name is Jendai. You are now live, darling.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can, loud and clear.
All right. My name is Jendai Stafford, and like Taria said, I was in the first edition of It's Not That Easy. I am a mental health therapist, and I'm also a child mental health specialist for the state of Washington. I'm also a holistic whole body care coach, and so that just kind of takes a whole holistic approach to people's care, because a lot of it is a lot of things dealing with your mental health also affect your physical health, spiritual, there's environmental things going on as well. So I've kind of put all that together and developed the holistic whole body care coaching. But I'm really excited to be here. I really resonate with the other co-authors. I've not been homeless, but I know that there is a large homeless population, especially with the military. I am prior military, so my heart does go out to our military members, because I mean, I have missed Christmases and holidays, not being with family, and it does play a huge part in your mental health. Just, you know, things that you go through as a child and in childhood, like different traumatic events and things like that, you don't even realize how much of a role that plays in your mental health until you do become an adult. And then certain things in life kind of exacerbate those things. And so because of it, and because of dealing with the military and things like that, I have PTSD, insomnia, anxiety. So I understand the anxiety and it's crazy, because there's just so many different things that can play a part and play a role into your mental health and wellness that we just aren't even aware of. So I think just even starting the topic, I think making people aware of mental health and wellness is just the tip of the iceberg. So I'm super excited about this project. I'm so excited that there was a second edition for other people to share their stories.
Oh, absolutely. And we plan on actually doing a third edition, and we want to continue to keep on doing this particular book because we want more people to be able to share their truths, men and women. So, you know, women are not the only ones affected with mental health challenges. We're looking for more people to actually join us in this particular journey that want to share their truths. And so again, please make sure, guys, to share this video, let other people know about this so that you can get an opportunity to be one of the 10 to actually win a copy of this book. Jendai, I do want to ask you this, because since you are in the mental health space and you work with people directly, I guess my question is, are there any particular causes to any of the mental illnesses? Like, I mean, of course, dealing with certain traumas, but is there maybe, can you say it is also connected to what we eat? Is it hereditary? Like, where do they generally come from? Or is it only because of experience?
That's a really good question. So there are certain mental health conditions that are linked to being hereditary. So you have certain things like personality disorders, bipolar, and things like that. However, there are different mental health disorders that come from trauma. You can have trauma-based PTSD, that's, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder. That's something that can come from experiencing trauma. Anxiety can come from experiencing a traumatic event. Depression can be caused because of a traumatic event. And then also in the foods that we eat, there have been studies and research shows that your gut is a second brain. So there are certain things, certain endorphins and things like that that affect your mood do start in the gut. So there are dietary reasons for mental disorders as well. And there's different ways to combat them. So depression, there's things called mood foods. So there's actually food that you can consume that helps with your mood, help elevate your mood. So seaweed is actually a really good mood food. It's an acquired taste, so you would definitely have to get used to it. You don't have to just eat the seaweed chips or anything like that. I'm not saying go out and buy a bunch of sushi, but there are different foods like that that kind of help boost your mood. So yes, it's absolutely, there's environmental factors, there's hereditary factors, and there's, just different traumatic things that can occur. For me, I know one thing, like I was always terrified of the water when I couldn't see the bottom of it, and go figure, I joined the Navy. But there's just different things like, it took me a while to realize that the reason that I was so terrified of water was because my god sister drowned 2 days before my 10th birthday. Well, that was a traumatic event that I never pinned with, oh, I'm scared of water. So there's certain things like that, certain times a year roll around, and people get really, kind of down in the dumps, and they don't realize why. Well, if you kind of do a timeline backwards, and I do this with a lot of my patients, you notice that there was a certain event that occurred that was during that time of year, and that's why you're feeling that certain way. So absolutely, there's all kinds of things that can play a role into your mental health.
Wow. Okay. First of all, girl, I think you just gave me a little therapy, because, honey, that makes a whole lot of sense. Why, even for myself, why during the holiday season, it's pretty tough for me. Well, I'm going to bring back India real quick, and I'm going to ask India if she could share just maybe one little thing. Of course, don't give away the whole book, because we want everybody to read your chapter. But if you want to give us like one thing that you did personally to help you to overcome your mental health challenges.
So one thing, Taria and team, that I decided to do to help me overcome my anxiety problems was I decided to release the anxiety by journaling it out, talking to people, and of course through prayer, deep prayer, not just, oh, Father, thine, thou, like going in. And for those that understand that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And so I found that just being human, like all of us are dealing with the same types of emotions here in and here out, right? And I had to stop making it as, I had to stop exaggerating or I would say exponentially increasing my reality and feeling like I was the only one, and oh, the devil is just gonna take me out with this one. I had to put it in proper perspective, reach out to experts in the field, and make sure that I released it through proper channels of journaling it out. I had a wonderful, wonderful friend, and gave me a phenomenal advice about 4 years ago. And I was dealing with some things, and she said, have you ever journaled? But this is the tactic she taught me. She said, don't write, but take your journal and just draw like a circles, and then just draw kind of like how you feel, draw it out. And y'all, when I say that was an answer to prayer, like that helped me so much that I would get pinned up, and then I would just draw it out. I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to, be right and be perfect. I can just release it through that. I hope this is really helping someone, because anxiety is real. Depression's real. Dealing with abandonment issues is real. All of that I had to overcome, and it was not alone. It was through definitely asking for help. I can't tell you enough how many times I have, humbled myself, and I've said, hey, I don't have it all together. I need you to help. I need you to know what's going on. I need you to care enough for a moment and give me some type of advice, because I don't want to lose out on life or lose out on my destiny because I'm having these complications and I don't know how to deal with it. So I would definitely encourage people to release their anxiety or release their the issues that they might be facing wherever you find yourself on the spectrum. Okay, release those issues by finding channels to deal with it. Mine was through, of course, journaling, asking for help, connecting to people. And of course, my last thing that I did, I went to the beach. So, the beach is a wonderful, wonderful healer for me. And so I leave those tactics with the audience here. And I hope that people are able to be inspired and be empowered by those.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And guys, if you want to get more tips, of course, from India and as well as our other co-authors, all you need to do is go to itsnotthateasybook.com. That is the website. Itsnotthateasybook.com. So you can actually connect with our authors directly, and you can go to their website, their social media. All of that information is available on the website, so that you can connect with them. And if you want to get their particular book, like their book where they can autograph and send it to you, reach out to them directly, okay? And so I'm going to go ahead and ask the same question to Arshala so she can share with us a tip to overcoming as well. Go ahead, my love.
Yes, and I love the response that India gave, because when you're dealing with mental illness or any mental disorder of any sort, you have to really become intentional. You really have to become intentional as far as strategizing on, well, what do I need to do to overcome this? And for me, I had to become really deep in my prayer life. I really had to get deep in my prayer life. And for those that understand, it's spiritual warfare. I really had to become deep in that, because I understood that some of it, that a lot of it came from just spiritual attacks. But I also had to develop other tactics as well, as far as finding scriptures in the Bible that actually spoke to whatever it was that I was feeling. And one of my favorite scriptures that I like to go to, as far as Philippians 4:8, where it talks about, it tells you what to put your mind on. Put your mind on those things that are lovely. Put your mind on those things that are freeing, that are peaceful. And so I had to become real intentional about how I was going to overcome this. And another tactic that I used was just making myself sit down and actually put some soft music on. That was another tactic that I used, because I love music. And so I would put on some soft jazz, something that didn't have any words or anything. It was just music, pure music, where you just heard instruments, and it actually calmed me down. So during this process, there's different strategies that I came up with, but those for me were the two biggest, because that's where I saw the immediate results and how I was feeling at the time. And so, like I said, prayer, becoming real deep in my prayer, also just finding scriptures that spoke to what I was feeling at that time, whether it was depression, whether it was anxiety, anything that I was feeling at that time. I found scriptures that applied to that specific thing. And that's what I would just get down down in my soul. And I would, recite those scriptures out when I was feeling that. And then I would also just find soft, calming jazz music, some type of music, no words, because at that time I didn't need to hear what anyone else was saying. I just needed to hear calming music that would just put me in a different zone and help me to calm my spirit.
And so I'm going to ask Jendai if you could answer for me as well, love. What would you recommend a tip for anybody, one tip that they can actually use to overcome their mental health challenge?
So it's actually really hard to say just one thing, especially depending on the degree of mental health or mental illness they're dealing with. Like she said before, I do like the more holistic approach to taking care of mental health, although I do understand that there are at times when medication is required. So I'm not anti-medication. I don't want to say that. I don't want people thinking, oh, she's one of those therapists that doesn't like medication. That's not the case. I don't think personally and professionally, I don't believe medication should be the first go-to. There are different things. So like even now, so I'm going to tell on myself now. So my family is a little chaotic right now. I mean, the child has busted through the door, let cats in. I know earlier there was like a cat tail going behind me, and I'm like quietly trying to snatch him off. But so my anxiety was kind of getting up there, even on this broadcast. And here I am, the mental health expert, getting a PhD in developmental psychology. So here I am, supposedly having all this knowledge in the mental health world. And as we're sitting here on this broadcast, my anxiety is building and I can feel it. One of the things I will tell people to, just as a tip, is be aware of your body. Your body is speaking to you. Your body is telling you everything that you need to know in order to help combat the full overload of a mental health breakdown, basically. So even just sitting here in the broadcast, what I've been doing, because everybody has to find what works for them. Classical music, drawing it out, writing, you have to find what works for you. It is not a one shoe fits all. And so I tell my clients, a lot of times I tell my patients that this may be a process, but we're going to find something that works for you. Because even though one thing works for me, so like right now, deep breathing was working for me. I have a tendency to take my fingers and I'll squeeze my fingers because it helps with my anxiety. That was something that I did in the Navy. It's something that I can do now. It's non-invasive. So you guys didn't know that I was on the verge of freaking out and having a panic attack while on the broadcast, because it's things that are non-invasive. So deep breathing, those are certain techniques that I use. But again, it's kind of hard to say one thing. If I had to say one thing, I would say try everything, because, research things, go see a therapist. People, there's still such a bad stigma on therapy and, oh, they're going to try and give me drugs or this, that, and the third. You are your own advocate. You do not have to take the medication. I'm here to tell you that as a professional, we may, first of all, the only person who can prescribe medication would be your physician or a psychiatrist. A therapist or a psychologist cannot prescribe. We may recommend, but you don't have to do that. You are your own advocate. You have a voice for yourself. We give recommendations at best. You do not have to do them. So I would recommend seeing a therapist, seeing a psychologist, seeing somebody who is in the profession, and don't feel like you're stuck with that one person. If you find that you're seeing this therapist or a psychologist and you guys just don't mesh well at all, you can fire them. You can ask to be referred somewhere else. So be an advocate for yourself. Have a voice. Don't feel like you're stuck in that one therapy session. And then research things, research different coping skills, deep breathing, drawing, writing, things like that. One shoe does not fit all. Change your diet, decrease your sugars, don't drink as many sodas throughout the day. Stay clear of the red and yellow dyes in your food. Eat more dark green, leafy, dark vegetables and fruits, berries, nuts, things like that. Those are mood foods. So I would just say try a little bit of everything and make a note of what works, what didn't work. Just your body's not going to lie to you. So just be very in tune with your body.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And guys, don't forget, if you want more tips, it's not that easybook.com. That's where you want to go so that you can actually connect with Jendai. You can connect with Arshila. You can connect with India, and you can be able to connect with them directly. If their story resonated with you, I would encourage you to definitely reach out to them, because again, it's always about being connected to someone who also understands your challenge. A lot of times, I remember when I had a friend that was going through some really tough times, and she was dealing with depression in a major way. And I didn't know how to handle her depression because of what she was going through. I had not experienced that. And so for me, it was tough to really know how to handle that. And so the biggest thing that you can do right now, or if you know someone that's going through it, is to, first of all, make sure that they see this video. But second of all, tell them to go to the website, or you go to the website to connect with one of our co-authors, because I can promise you every single one of them has a unique story. And I promise you that you'll be able to connect with at least 1, 2, or 3. So make sure that you do go to itsnotthateasybook.com so you can get a chance to meet each and every one of our co-authors of the first and the second edition. But all 3 of these young ladies are on the website as well. Last thing I'm going to ask you guys is any last imparting words. This is the holiday season. And as you know, holiday season, winter season, They call it the cuffing season. And a lot of us, we might not have nothing to cuff. And so we feeling some kind of way about that too. But either way, last and parting words for anybody right now who is just over it, and whatever it may be, from PTSD, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts. Unfortunately, there may be somebody right now watching this, and that is probably what's going on in their mind right now. Ladies, I want to leave you I want to ask you to leave us with some last and parting words for that person who needs to hear you. So I'm going to have India go first.
So I would love to just kind of encourage everyone out there. You might know someone with mental health situation, suicide, anxiety, depression, going through abuse and trying to overcome that trauma. I want to leave them with a nugget to just say, you're not alone, and give tomorrow a chance. Okay, give tomorrow a chance. You're not alone, and always know that, you can pray to God, ask God into your life and become born again, like, of course, Acts 2:38 doctrine, or you can find other loving people, loving supports. But whatever you do, don't try to handle it all on your own. Give others a shot and give tomorrow a shot, because you're not alone. It will get better. Just know I believe there's a God in heaven. He's waiting for you. He will be there for you no matter where you are. He'll find you. He found me when I didn't feel like living anymore. And, I said one prayer. I said, God, you either turn this around or I'm done. I'm sick of this. I'm tired of the abuse. I'm tired of foolishness. And I know sometimes you might feel that way. So I just want to, encourage everybody on here and say you're not alone. Give tomorrow a chance. You never know when it'll all turn around in your favor. Give tomorrow a chance. Don't unplug just yet.
Thank you so much. Ursula, I'm going to go ahead and let you share.
What I would like to tell people first, to encourage them, because I know that this is the holiday season. A lot of people hate being alone during this time of the year, and all sorts of feelings bombard your mind because of the fact that you're lonely, and then you feel like, well, is there something wrong with me, or I have this going on in my life? What is going on with my mental health? I'm telling you now, as India said, give tomorrow a chance, but also give yourself a chance. Don't be hard on yourself. Do not allow labels and all that those other things that people put on you. Don't let that be a problem.
Uh-oh. Thank you, Mother. Can y'all hear her still? Ursula, if you can hear me, I think you froze up a little bit.
But there's nothing wrong. Isolate yourself. You need help. Be afraid to let people know that you need help. Give yourself a chance. Don't give up. And every day is a new day, and that's another thing. Don't try to worry about days in the future. Worry about today and what you can do for yourself today. Every day should be its own day, and you just take it one day at a time, and you're going to be fine. You're going to be all right.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We lost you a little bit, but I think we heard most of it. So appreciate you so much. Jendai, last and parting words.
Yeah, it's hard. And I know that people may feel like you don't understand what it is I'm going through. You don't understand how long I've been dealing with this. But I would just want to encourage people, like, the thoughts are coming in, the thoughts are racing. Don't be alone. Surround yourself with people. Even if you don't have anybody in the area, I guarantee there's a church or a shelter or somebody doing something for the community or within the community. Get involved. And they always say an idle mind is the devil's playground. Do not be alone, because when you're alone, that's when you have time to fester in your thoughts. And it's like a sore. If you let a sore just sit there instead of getting checked, it's going to ooze, it's going to fester, it's going to infect the entire body instead of you going and getting it checked and letting somebody see it. Like, it's the same thing. That loneliness, that idleness, that is a sore that is just waiting to fester. Just be involved, go around your community. If you don't have, I mean, if you literally feel like you have no church to go to, no shelter to reach out to, then you know what? Go around and just stand out and like go talk to people. There might be, you may be homeless, but guess what? There's other people around. Go talk to them, share a story. You never know like how you guys can come together and just one little thing could spark something so brand new in you. Like you just don't know. And like they said before, give yourself a chance, give tomorrow a chance. You never know. You never know what it holds. You never know what it holds. But I would just encourage people, don't be by yourself. If you are completely against religion and you don't want to go to a church, find a hospital to go volunteer at. Find anywhere to be than by yourself.
That was really good. Ladies, you have blessed everybody here on this broadcast. And if I could just add one more thing too, is on top of what everybody said, which honestly was amazing, is also, I always say, don't look left and don't look right. And what I mean by that is don't compare your story to someone else. Because I know a lot of times it's easy for us to say, well, man, I didn't deal with PTSD, or I've never been homeless or abused, or I've never had to deal with, a chaotic house. Like, so how am I in this position, or why, what's wrong with me to be in this type of position of depression or, anxiety or whatever it is? I always tell people, look, your story is your story. Your journey is your journey, and you should never compare yours to somebody else. All of us have experienced different things in our past. And there's all reasons why we are the way we are today. And so if it's causing you any heartache, any pain, know that it is just. And being that it is just, now it's time to change that, okay? Now it's time to move up out of that. I love what I think, Jendaya, you might have said it, is just by accepting it or acknowledging it. Once you acknowledge it, and I think for me, and I don't know if ladies, you agree, it wasn't until, well, first of all, my friend was the one who told me I needed to get up out the bed. And then when I realized, like, oh my God, I'm like going through depression. I didn't even know what it was. It wasn't until then that I acknowledged, okay, I'm depressed. And I had to say it, like, I'm depressed. And then it was now, okay, what am I going to do to get out of this situation and be intentional? That's when really things started to happen. It wasn't, why am I depressed? Because I was depressed. It had happened. And so now it's a matter of, how can I pull myself out of it? And then being able to figure out those different techniques, from the breathing to being around people and all of those things that have contributed to many of us that have been able to push through it. We don't overcome it. Just like Jendaya just said, she's dealing with it right now, right? We all still deal with different things, but it's now knowing how to be able to understand what's happening to your body and pushing through. So again, guys, we want to encourage you again to please go to the website. It's notthateasybook.com. Also, we do have the 3rd edition, where we are now looking for individuals who want to be a part of this book, who want to be a part of this movement. Guys, this is a topic that we're just going to continue to keep talking about more and more. And we're looking for women and we're looking for men. And so if you're interested, we want you to email us at info@showyoursuccess.com. info@showyoursuccess.com. But other than that, it has been a privilege and a pleasure. Ladies, thank you so much for being a part of this. This is just the beginning, guys. You're not gonna look, you're gonna get tired of our faces, because we're gonna be out here promoting this book like never before. All the young ladies that you saw on tonight also have other things that they're doing. And so just be sure to look out for them out here in these 2020 streets. Okay. My name is Taria Vision Avant. And again, this is the discussion about mental health. We're talking about the 2nd edition of It's Not That Easy. Stop telling me to get over it. Stop telling me to get over it. I'm going through challenges and it's okay. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And we will see you guys on the next broadcast. Bye for now. Deuces.